Truth is, Curtis is a swish. Been a swish for many years. Everyone knows it.
So last night she implied that 50 Cent is gay. The boys in the audience were like, ow, that's one for our side.
Oh my gosh, 50 Cent's career just imploded. Jaguar Wright dropped a bombshell freak-off tape that has 50 caught in 4K. And trust me, no women are involved. This footage is everywhere, and people are saying it's worse than anything Diddy's been accused of. 50's having a complete meltdown, but honey, that damage is done.
If you Google the cover, 50's wearing like all white, like tight, and then he's got a mask over his head, and he's got his hand around Soulja Boy. It looked kind of booty bandish-ish. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
Let's be real for a second. Everyone and their mama knows 50 Cent built his whole empire on exposing other people. For years, he's been dragging Diddy, throwing all this shade about freak-offs and industry parties, acting like he's some saint that's above all the mess. But what happens when the person who's always pointing fingers gets exposed themselves? Jaguar's been out here spilling all the music industry's dirty little secrets for years. And baby, she is not holding back anymore.
And I was used to fame, you know. And the main thing that what the relationship was that we just went way too public, way too fast. The love that I had for him, and still to this day, will always, like, he was the love of my life. I will admit that without any reservations. He will always have a very special place in my heart. But the reason why the relationship ended was because we just went public way too fast, had way too many people in our business. And
when Jaguar set her sights on 50, people paid attention real quick. She didn't come to play games or drop hints. She came with a sledgehammer. Jaguar is out here claiming 50 has been knee-deep in the exact same mess he's been calling everyone else out for. And if you think she's just talking trash, let's go back to 2010. The internet detectives have been working overtime digging up receipts, and the first bombshell they found? That infamous XXL magazine cover that has everybody's jaws on the floor.
And I'm not saying allegedly, Curtis. I know what you've been doing. You don't get no about what happens to those people in that town, but I do.
I know you have been like the world's most amazing boyfriend. Chelsea Handler had great things to say about you. Remember Coco Fox? She said that you are still the love of her life. Do you have a response to that?
Well, no, I don't. I'm never bothered by when she says that. You know what I'm saying? Because you say, if you just the timing at the time that we actually interacted with each other, there was we weren't conscious of everything else that's going on. So she'll always say, if you listen to her, she'll say, I would have been private.
Yeah, she would have had as many people in y'all's business.
Right, because when it got so uncomfortable with everybody else, like when you get pushed and pulled in different directions without it being even her decision.
Right.
Her publicist is saying, do this. This person is, you do this, and you go.
Back in the day, people gave that cover some side-eye but didn't think too deeply about it. But now, in 2025, where everyone's third eye is wide open, that cover hits completely different. Picture this scene. 50 Cent standing behind a shirtless Soulja Boy, gripping his chain, pants hanging low, with this look on his face like he knows something we don't. The stance, the positioning, the whole energy. It was giving something else entirely, if you know what I mean. People laughed it off back then, saying it looked a bit off. But with Jaguar's bombshell breaking the internet, suddenly everyone's connecting dots they never saw before.
What were your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, you know, the pot calling the kettle black is all I'm saying.
Ooh, pot calling the kettle black. Huh.
Whoa, that was some tea. That was shade. That was major shade.
Pot calling the kettle black. So I mean, you're not insinuating that
he's gay?
50 Cent is.
And can we talk about how Vivica A. Fox has been trying to tell us all along? Nobody would listen back then. Remember 2003? 50 Cent and Vivica were absolutely the power couple. He was dominating rap, she was killing it in Hollywood, and together they had the entire industry wrapped around their finger. But that fairy tale relationship crashed and burned. Years later, Vivica spilled tea to Vlad TV about how the media circus completely destroyed what they had. I felt her pain through the screen.
He was in love with you, girl. Would you ever think about getting back together with Mr. Curtis Jackson if he came? Well, Ben and Jen did it again. Why not a monster?
In another kind of way, he don't want things to change. He just want to be the one that's running it. See? Easiest thing to do is to take your enemy's feet and hold them to the fire for things you know.
But here's the tea. It wasn't just them making decisions. Managers, publicists, and literally everyone else had their hands in that relationship. And just like that, everything fell apart. But Vivica wasn't finished. When she showed up on Watch What Happens Live, she dropped some piping hot tea that had everyone gagging.
This is Kid 50 Cent and with Soulja Boy. He's sharpening them up right now. Feels good, you know what I mean? My man is hottest thing on the street right now. You see me learning to dance on Rap City. If you ain't seen, you better go. You know that? You're. How we getting it going? But I like Soulja Boy. I like Soulja Boy a lot.
Sick and tired of him. I'd have more respect for him if he came out the closet.
It seems like...
Because he's a lot more Bogart than Brooke.
She so casually slipped in this explosive hint about 50. When Andy Cohen brought up how 50 had criticized Empire's ratings dropping because of too much gay stuff, Vivica didn't hesitate for a second. She was locked and loaded. Now, she never actually came out and said 50 was on the down low. But honey, everyone knew exactly what she was implying. And you better believe 50 and Soulja Boy weren't about to let that slide. Soulja fired the first shot, posting this horrible, unflattering picture of Vivica with a caption that was so disrespectful. Everybody hit up Miss Vivica, she's single and ready to mingle. But 50? He took Petty to a whole new galaxy. This wasn't just a clapback. He made it his life's mission to drag Vivica. When Soulja threw that first punch, 50 jumped right in the comments, adding his own twisted flavor. He started making these disgusting claims about their intimate life together. And just to be extra nasty, he even threw in this 50 Shades of Grey reference, like their relationship was some kind of twisted fantasy novel. And he didn't stop there. Every interview, every chance he got, 50 kept this beef going like his life depended on it. He took it way too far when he started comparing Vivica to a trans man, saying they had the same features. This wasn't shade anymore. This was personal vengeance. Meanwhile, Soulja Boy acted all innocent, constantly reinforcing how tight he and 50 were, even saying without 50, there would be no Soulja Boy. But while they were hyping each other up, people started giving them these suspicious looks, and that's when the whispers began. Maybe Vivica knew something we didn't all along. Vivica eventually apologized to Soulja Boy, but for 50, absolute silence. Instead, she doubled down hard, saying everything 50 ever claimed about their relationship was complete lies. But here's what doesn't add up. If none of this was true, why did they both react so explosively? If it was all nonsense, wouldn't they have just laughed it off? Instead, they went nuclear. Makes you wonder what they're so afraid of. And apparently, Soulja Boy's been caught up in all this drama too. An alleged former partner of his came forward in an interview recently. In Chile, he didn't hold anything back. Full text message receipts, details about expensive gifts Soulja supposedly gave him to keep quiet. We're talking designer bags, a puppy named Treasure, and all kinds of industry moves to make sure this story stayed buried. But it gets even wilder. This old Instagram live between Soulja Boy and Nicki Minaj resurfaced, and it's the most revealing thing I've ever seen. Nicki straight up asked him if he knew any DL rappers in the industry, and his reaction? Priceless. Nicki was like, "You think there's a lot of undercover brothers?" And Soulja stammered, I said I do." The way this man panicked, stumbling over his words, looking terrified, trying desperately to change the subject. The math is absolutely mathing at this point. All this time, Vivica kept spilling more tea in every interview, even telling Sherry Shepherd in 2023 that she still had feelings for 50. But 50 was on a completely different vibe. He posted this throwback clip from the 2003 BET Awards, the exact moment he first flirted with Vivica on national television. But his caption was ice cold. "I look back at some of the sins I did and got to learn to shut up. Look at that." That's trouble. He basically called their entire relationship a mistake. This is when the streets really started buzzing with rumors. 50's name has been in these industry whispers for years. There was this blind item about a rapper who loved calling others out for being DL, but behind closed doors was hosting the exact same kind of parties himself. Remember when Rufus Wainwright, the openly gay singer, confidently declared, "I know he's gay. Feel free to call me anytime?" Or when The Game dropped these cryptic hints about 50's preferences years ago. It's like everyone knew something we didn't. Then Daphne Joy, 50's ex, and his son's mother entered the chat. After 50 went hard exposing Diddy's alleged lifestyle, Daphne snapped back with this massive hint that 50 should clean up his own past before coming for others. She practically confirmed that whatever 50 was accusing Diddy of, he might have first-hand experience with himself. But the real bombshell dropped when Jaguar Wright jumped in after Vivica's revelations. And listen, when Jaguar starts talking, you better pay attention because that woman tells all. This is where everything got seriously suspicious. For years, 50 Cent has obsessively called people out for being DL. Name any rapper. Chances are 50's thrown shade their way. He's constantly posting these suggestive pictures of Diddy at parties, hinting something's off, or those edited photos of Diddy and Rick Ross looking too comfortable together. According to some sources, those weren't just jokes. Jaguar didn't mince words. She said, "The reason 50 keeps calling out other folks is because he knows the game a little too well. I ain't mad at him, I just don't trust him." She suggested that 50's fixation with other men's bodies isn't just trolling, it's projection. Then she dropped the ultimate bombshell. Jaguar claimed 50's been exposing others while hiding his own secrets. And according to her, 50 was the one who introduced Soulja Boy to that side of the industry. But she didn't just make claims. She said she saw evidence. As in, she allegedly watched a tape of Soulja Boy and 50 at some secret industry party with other big names. Jaguar hinted that Soulja Boy had been passed around in these circles, with 50 being the one who brought him in. If that's true, it means 50's been deeply involved in the same industry mess he's been calling out others for. The hypocrisy is astronomical. She even suggested 50 had some questionable encounters while locked up and had to pay people to keep quiet. Jaguar brought it back to that double extra large cover, pointing out how 50 was positioned behind Soulja like he was presenting him to the world while wearing that BDSM-style mask. According to her, that cover wasn't just a photo shoot. It was sending a message that we all missed. Jaguar also mentioned Mike Tyson's mansion that 50 bought, suggesting those infamous industry parties didn't stop after 50 became the owner. They might have gotten even wilder. She claimed the reason 50 never directly denies anything is because he can't. Instead, he deflects, clowns people, and causes distractions so nobody looks too closely at him. She boldly stated 50 might as well come out of the closet because the streets already know the truth. And what about that story of Diddy offering 50 an all-expenses-paid shopping spree? At the time, people thought 50 was just mocking Diddy, but now people are wondering, why would Diddy approach 50 specifically? Diddy doesn't shoot his shot at just anyone. The most telling part? Jaguar dared 50 att stämma henne om hon ljuger. Men allt vi fick var tystnad. No lawsuits, no Instagram rants, nothing. As one fan put it, if 50 doesn't sue her, she ain't lying. We all know how petty he is. Did Jaguar just end 50 Cent's career? Or is this just another industry rumor? Drop your thoughts below, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for updates on this explosive story.